You're watching Ticket TV. Like, share, and subscribe on your way in.
All right, you guys. So salute for tapping back in. And let's get right into this. So Chris Brown has entered a guilty plea. Once again, C Breezy, Chris Brown has entered a guilty plea and he will Chris Brown entered a guilty plea and he will be sentenced in October. Now this is on his case that he has in London, right? This is on the case that he has in London, the criminal case he had. Remember, he was facing life in prison, bro, for grievous bodily harm. Now, that case, I'm gonna talk about that case real quick. Basically, that came from an incident that happened in February of 2023, right? And it was a confrontation that happened at a tape nightclub in Mayfair, London, where prosecutors stated that Chris Brown used a glass bottle to strike the victim upside the top of his head, right? And so that incident, Chris Brown ended up, I guess, having to pay that guy too in a whole different civil case. But he also got a criminal case now. And that criminal case in the UK, they call that grievous bodily harm. That's basically a life sentence in prison, right? So Chris, what he did was he was able to get his lawyers to get him to plead down, right? And so he has pled guilty now, right? So he's pled guilty to affray, which involves using or threatening unlawful violence that causes others to fear for their safety, right? So by pleading guilty to these to affray, the more serious charges, including attempting to cause grievous bodily harm, causing actual bodily harm, and possessing an offensive weapon, were officially dropped by the prosecution. So Chris Brown, he worked out a good situation by paying that guy, going back and doing that. He doesn't face the life sentence no more. He's only facing a few years in prison in the UK. The judge, who's Tony Baumgartner, he scheduled Chris Brown's sentencing for October the 26th of this year, right? So he was granted bail that's allowed him to travel outside the UK, but he has to return on October the 25th for his sentencing. And so the judge said all options remain on the table during the court for his sentencing because here's the thing, like even in the UK, they can use your criminal history in other countries. So, they could use Chris Brown and he could use criminal history in other countries against CB. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're in the UK, that's something crazy now. But he got very lucky in this situation, man. That dude was facing life in prison, bro. In the UK, they don't play about this type of stuff. And if you'd have looked up the charges he was facing, the best thing he did was pay that dude that settlement and, you know, plead guilty, and get those charges knocked down because Chris Brown was facing life in prison in the UK. He literally was facing life. And they had it on from the word was they had this on videotape. They had this on videotape, which basically destroyed, any self-defense situation, any defense that he wanted to have, it was going to be destroyed because that entire incident was caught on videotape, right? So that's what I guess forced him to pay the dude all that money he paid him. Um, Let me see how much he paid to settle it. And it's because he paid in the settlement. It wasn't disclosed, but the dude was seeking $16 million. The dude named Abraham Dial, right? He was seeking. I'm gonna say it again. Abraham Dial was seeking. My bad, you guys. Abraham Dial was seeking $16 million. So that's exactly what happened, you guys. But Chris Brown, he will be sentenced on the late October of this year. He got to go back on the 25th. He'll be sentenced on the 26th. So if you ask me, what do I think he's gonna get? Anywhere from probation to a year. Anywhere from probation to a year in prison. You know what I'm saying? Anywhere from probation and a fine to a year in prison. That boy got real lucky because if he didn't settle that lawsuit, dude wasn't gonna let them drop them charges. If he didn't settle that lawsuit, he had to pay that dude a pretty penny. That dude was suing him for 16 million. Chris Brown probably paid that dude around $10 million, right? A lot of cheese, man. So he probably paid that dude around $10 million, and that probably helped get that dude off his case because that case wasn't going nowhere in the UK. And remember, y'all are watching what's going on with the Tate brothers. The UK, they have extradition with the United States. So Chris Brown knows that. He lives in the United States. The UK could have had him extradited. This is what y'all see going on with the Tate brothers right now. But the Tate brothers, they're not getting no deal like that. The Tate brothers are toast. The Tate brothers are going to prison for the rest of their life. And there ain't nothing that none of these dudes can do about it on the internet that's crying about it. So, yeah, man. But Chris Brown, yeah, I suppose he paid that dude over $10 million to get off this shit, bro. Because that dude had to have dropped back on those charges. Because if he did not pay that dude, bro, Chris Brown would have been the rest of his life in prison in the UK. And the United States would have had to hand him over because the United States has never rejected any. Let me repeat myself again. The United States has never, ever rejected any extradition request from the UK. That's why the Tate brothers know they're in trouble. Tate brothers know they're screwed, bro. You know what I mean? And so Chris Brown would, the little history he have, that it was gonna make it worse for him. Even though he was a celebrity, so he had to pay that dude, man, to get that dude guilty of assault, beating a dude with a bottle in the UK. Remember I told y'all he had a case in the UK where he was facing life in prison. The dude had severe head injuries, torn leg ligaments that he suffered during that altercation. Right? People, I'm telling y'all. Right? Right? So they had a private settlement. So think about this. Think about how much money Chris Brown have had to pay out. He just lost all that money to that dude. He lost all that money to you say guilty of what, OG? Guilty of assault. Of beating a dude with a bottle in the UK. He just got off for he just got found guilty. Bro, Chris Brown lost Shannon Sharp type money. Because remember, he went to court with that lady just now for a civil case. And that civil case, Chris Brown lost, bro, he lost a shitload of money. How much they ruled that lady? $11 million, right? Somebody said, leave him alone. What you mean, leave him alone? What is you talking about, man? The nigga pled guilty. What are you talking about? Chris Brown is on tape. See, y'all come on YouTube and you say shit that you don't even know what you're talking about. And I'm talking to you, Flo Ifi Yenvi. Chris Brown was on tape in the UK in a nightclub. They beat a nigga ass on tape. What a bottle. Gave him head lacerations all over his body. They beat this dude bad. The dude sued Chris Brown for $16 million and pressed criminal charges against him. Chris Brown was facing life in prison. They had it on tape. Go look at the evidence, man. What the hell is wrong with you? This is the reason why Chris Brown paid that dude a settlement so the dude would not cooperate further and get his charges dropped down, and he pled guilty. Now he goes to face sentencing on October the 26th. What the hell is you talking about? Some leave him alone. This is what's wrong with people on the internet. They don't think. It's crazy how people come inside YouTube and just say dumb shit, bro. Like, leave him alone. The nigga just pled guilty. What are you talking about? He's on tape. I'm giving you the evidence. The nigga was on tape. This happened in a nightclub. This was on videotape. It's in his file. He was facing life in prison. You said ain't no haters on here. Oh no, you're hating. You said leave him alone. Why would you say leave somebody alone who admitted he's guilty? Make it make sense. Answer that question. You said leave him alone. What do you mean by that, man? I just want to know what you mean by that. He was found guilty in civil court a couple weeks ago with the dog situation with the lady who worked for him. He got to pay her $11-something million. Then you got to turn around and pay this other nigga multi-millions of dollars that you beat up in the club and what you call it, in the UK. They got it on tape. The nigga was facing life in prison. Everybody thought the shit was a game. Chris Brown went ahead and paid that dude and got that shit out the way. So dude would not go forward with his testimony to get Chris Brown out of there. So he pleaded to a lesser charge. He was able to. If dude would have think about this. If dude would have pushed the issue, Chris Brown could have did life in prison. That shit on tape. So it was no way he can get out of that. He was on videotape. The only way he can get out of that is with the dude. So, you know what I'm saying? Dude help that situation as far as him removing himself from that whole situation now. Right? So Chris pled guilty. He got to go back on October 26th. And now with him pleading guilty down to the lesser charge, I feel like he probably just going to get probation or up to a year in prison. I don't see the judge going more than a year or 2 years. I don't see the judge going 3 years. I don't see him going like that. You know? If he an asshole, it just depends on the judge. I don't know this judge. So it depends on who the judge is, which I know his name, but I don't really know him. You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown probably paid that dude around $10 million. He probably paid that dude around $10 to $12 million, man. Then he just got ruled to pay that girl $11 million. So that's right there. That's $20 million right there that's coming out your pocket. Right? Right? So again, you know, that's why you just gotta make smarter decisions, man. I like Chris, man, but again, man, damn, dog, you gotta give away all that money, man, and potentially your freedom, man. This is why people need anger management classes to be able to control that rage. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have these type of situations. You feel me? But yeah, he gets sentenced on October the 26th, y'all. So that's 3 months from now. 3 months from now, he gets sentenced. You know, and he did right. Chris Brown did right by going over there, facing it, and doing what he did. Because if he didn't, and they would have extradited him, bro. The UK has extradited. They would have did the same thing they doing to the Tate brothers right now. And I'm gonna show y'all something. The Tate brothers gonna get life in prison. Watch. Both of the Tate brothers are gonna get life in prison in the UK. Both of the Tate brothers are gonna get extradited, and they're gonna get life in prison. Chris Brown was lucky. He was blessed. He could have easily been doing 10 to 20 years in prison in the UK. But him having the resources to pay that dude, you know what I'm saying? Y'all see how I changed the game up. You did? They got a big tour going on now. He gonna make a lot of money from that tour, but that money he probably, man, let me tell you something, man. $20 million hit damn near, man. That's a lot of cheese, bro. That's a lot of cheese, man. So y'all let me know what y'all feel, man. We'll follow up when he gets sentenced on October the 26th. October the 26th. 26th of this year is his sentencing. So we'll follow up, you guys, and I'll let y'all know how much time he gets when his sentencing comes. He's pled guilty. Like, share, subscribe.
Hey, we always appreciate the support, and if you guys want to do so, you can use the Cash App or PayPal links. They'll be in the description box below this video or pinned at the top of the comments. The top donators will be announced every month. All right, you guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all cop the merch, and make sure that you get the weight loss formula. The links to that will be in the description box below this video. Check out our next video coming up right now.